You don't think that means they're more popular?
What do you think it means to be popular? To be known by the audience, right?
Okay. Well,
Okay.
hold on. You
Is it
can
the
get
case that the
a
rapper
definition.
can be? Is it the
Hold on, wait.
case?
You
Is
can
it
get
the
the
case that
definition
the
for that.
rapper can be
Wait.
known
You can get the
by a
definition for that.
particular set of audience for something outside of his music,
You can get the definition for that.
like production, for example?
I'm asking you to prove
You're not
that.
aware of this? You don't think
You're
it is
not tracking.
possible that this is the case?
Possible that what is the case?
That a rapper is known for something outside of rap, retard, like his actual songs, like maybe
Okay,
for music
clearly we're talking about
production or
popularity
writing
indexed to
lyrics.
rap. I'm not speaking
You
about
know, there are
popularity
case
generally.
scenarios where
Sure,
rappers
there are
write
other
lyrics for
contributing
other people,
factors
right?
to
Like
general
for example,
popularity.
Drake has written lyrics for other artists. You know this, right?
Okay, that's fine. Well, one,
Yeah, so
right?
a rapper can be
Wait,
known. A rapper can be more
one.
known than
Hold on, wait,
another rapper, not because of his songs.
one. Hold on. One, you'd
This
have to
nigga's
show.
retarded. Let me go
Hold
someone
on.
else.
One, you'd have to show that his, I guess, credits in that song would provide
Retard,
any
you're saying it
meaningful
follows from
value.
someone
Hold on,
having
any
more
meaningful
listeners
value
to their
to the
songs
layman.
that they're more
You idiot,
popular. That's
listen
not the
to me.
case.
Would provide
I
any
listen
meaningful
to you
value
making
to the
blunders
layman.
after
So
blunders. You're being
if it's
retarded.
gonna be something
You're
that
being
contributes
retarded.
to popularity, that means the general
You
audience
said that it
would look
follows
at the
from this. You
credits
said
and
it is
know,
the
like,
case
oh
that
wow, Drake
having more
also
hits
wrote this
means you
song.
have more
Clearly,
popularity.
it's not going to be some
That's
relevant
not the
factor.
case.
Can we do talking
Are
stick?
you
I need
retarded?
moderation.
You
I
think
need
having
moderation.
more hits
I need
automatically means
moderation.
that you're more
I need
popular
moderation.
than no, you
I need
agree that it
moderation.
is not the
I
case.
need moderation.
Sure, you can get moderation.
Talking
That's
stick.
fine,
We can do
retard.
talking stick.
You're just gonna
You
get
guys want talking
exposed for
stick?
We
being
can do
retarded.
talking stick. We can do
Alright,
talking
I'll
stick.
go
let's
first. I'll go first, actually. I'll go
No, I'm
first.
going first.
alright, I'm
No,
flipping a
I
coin.
just called first, bitch boy. So
No,
you're
I'm
gonna
going
go
Heads
last,
first.
bitch
or
I
boy.
yo,
called
heads,
moderation.
So
I'm going
anyways, I'm
first.
gonna go first. I'm gonna clarify the
heads or tails?
concepts.
Yo, Apollo, heads or
Ladies,
tails?
ladies, heads or
Heads.
tails?
You
Heads. I
said
called heads.
Call heads first.
I called
oh
heads first
Oh
before you
my
checked
oh
god,
credits.
my
are
You
you
god.
know you're
Okay,
trolling?
gonna you're
alright.
getting blitzed.
Alright, I'm giving Apollo the fucking you choose, Apollo, heads or tails?
Heads.
That's Glaze, bro. That's Glaze.
Yeah.
I guess
I
it's
Loki,
called heads
tails,
first.
tails.
tails
Yeah,
Anyways.
never
tails.
fails.
Okay, I go first, pussy.
Alright, go ahead,
Tails
Westbound.
never fails. Tails never fails.
Westbound, go
All
ahead.
right. Tell me when this dumb retard's muted.
He's muted. Been muted.
Okay. So yeah, I'm telling you. Well, first you made the point that popularity would be indexed to something like outside of rap. Sure, but if obviously what I'm talking about here is popularity indexed to the rap, and then when I said that, you responded with, "Oh, okay. Well, when we're talking about rap, you realize that he's written songs for other artists," and I'm saying that's not relevant at all because generally the layman, when they're listening to these songs, they're not going to go into the credits and see Drake listed amongst 120 other people that helped write this song. Usually what they're gonna look at is the main people who made the song, who sung it, the producer and the singer or the artist, whatever, right? So if we know that this probably doesn't have much meaningful value to the layman, then we can also come to the conclusion that more likely than not, it's not really that much of a contributor to his overall hits. It's pretty much negligible. So we know that having more hits would be, or having your name on these very popular songs that you wrote is gonna be this primary motivator for why you're popular. So yes, you being popular is correlated to you having more hits than the other person. If I have more hits than another artist, if my song has 2 million views on it and the other person has 500,000 views on it, then yes, I am going to be more popular than that person because my song is listened to more, and would have, because there's a wider variety, or I guess a wider pool of listeners, it would also follow that more likely than not there's going to be a larger variety of listeners because of the sample size. All right, so knowing this, we can then conclude that if you want to talk about hits, it's going to correlate to how many people will know this person, how popular this person is in comparison to this other rapper. Do you understand that, you dumb, stupid, Jamaican, broke, poor bitch? Go ahead.
Yeah, is the retard done talking? Okay, got you. So you insignificant, dumb, fucking imbecile, barbarian ape. Right? The conversational topic was us talking about if it follows from someone having more hits that it is the case that they're more popular. When I brought up the very facts that greatness is going to be indexed to the amount of hits primarily and who has more hits and better hits, You told me and you interpreted that claim as me talking about popularity comparison. That is not the case. I was not comparing popularity, you fucking retard. Drake is popular for reasons outside of his rap hits, you dumbass. For one, Drake is known in multiple different scenarios to do acting. He has been an actor before he even became popular on the rap scene, you dumb fuck. Right? So there are clearly other contributing reasons as to why Drake is even popular outside of just his rap inability. Right? Just to be clear. And not to mention, Drake writes lyrics for other artists who has hits on their own music. So you're making an idiotic point right there. We're not disagreeing on the fucking points with respect to whether or not hits is going to be something which is a main contributive factor to someone's popularity. No one is disagreeing on that in the context of rap or in the context of artism genre, for example. We're not disagreeing on that proposition, dumb fuck. Proposition I'm disagreeing on, dumb fuck, is you specifically saying that what it is rather, or when I'm talking about hits comparison, that automatically translates to popularity comparison, which is not the case. Then you agreed that rappers can be known for things outside of the very mere factor of hits, which would actually be a concession to you agreeing that popularity as a rapper is not identical to just a
Now you need
mere
to watch.
hits. And not to
It's time
mention,
to turn around to you.
just to be clear in this, right? When you're talking about hits and who has more hits or greater hits, all that means is which person's music is listened to more often. Someone can be known in the domain of rap, for example, right? For the reason being that not, well, rather, it's not the case, rather, that their hits is going to be the type of thing which is as significant as another person's hits, but rather they're known for a particular other reason outside of their hits, which is still correlated to the rapping industry, right? That was a blunder you made. You tried to change the scope of the conversation, change the proposition we disagreed on, and try to simplify it down as if I disagreed on the point with respects to whether or not hits is going to be something which is a contributing factor to one's popularity in the rapping industry or in the music industry. No one has ever disagreed on that, you fucking retard. I'm going to just put the leash around your neck and drag you back to the point. Here's the point to disagree on. The point to disagree on is if it is the case that talking about one rapper having more hits than another rapper is automatically translated to the proposition of whether or not one rapper is more popular. It is not automatically translated to that proposition. So I don't know what you're talking about there. You straw man the fuck out of the claim I made, and you basically made a huge blunder and tried to basically make up for the blunder by changing the topic, and now I'm exposing you for changing the topic, and now you cannot retaliate. So now let me see what other dumb retarded response you have to make in response to the very fact that you committed an obvious misinterpretation blunder in the conversation.
What's up, Apollo?
Oh my gosh, I'm off mute.
Mine muted? Yeah, Apollo. We can move off of this. You didn't track anything I just said. And I'm not making the argument that it automatically translates to this thing or that it's in. I guess that you would be more popular because of this thing. I'm clearly talking about something, popularity index to rapping in particular. I completely dismantled your reasons, or I guess your analogies as to why. Actually, I don't even need to help you with this. This is all contained with my argument prior. I can't believe that all you just did right now was repeat what you said before I even responded. This is literally, you're just repeating what you said. I responded to this and you're just repeating it. Do you think that's actually like coherent response? You absolute idiot. We can move on to the next point and talk about what makes a rapper better than another rapper. So I need give me like some other things that you value, all right? You can mute me now, by the way. Apollo, I need you to make a good argument. Right
Yeah,
here,
shut
right
up,
now.
retard. Just pipe down, you dumb fuck ape. So, anyways, just to go back to the point. So, the retard just basically tried to run away from the actual objections and accused me of not tracking to mask the very fact that he originally mistracked my proposition. We have this on the recording, you dumb fuck. You quite literally took these two claims to be identical. The claim of someone having better hits and the claim that one rapper is more popular than the other rapper, which is why I delved into the criteria of determining popularity, to which you agreed that a rapper can be more popular than another rapper just on the basis, or rather on the basis of something which is irrelevant to just mere hits. So you conceded that proposition, realized that proposition fucked you over, and then tried to change the scope again. Your only talking points are the only relevant talking point, rather, in your recent response is you talking about it being the case that hits is going to be something which contributes to one's popularity in the rap industry, which is not something I disagree on. No one disagrees in this proposition. This is not a contestable proposition or a proposition which is even contentious because it's not even the point of disputes we were having. The point of dispute we were having, but you forgot because of a short-term memory and of a goldfish brain and your dumb smelly nigger who can't track conversations because education is illegal for a poor broke African family. What the point of dispute actually was, you disgusting piece of trash, is me saying, or rather, you interpreting my claim of hits comparison to be emblematic of me comparing just their raw popularity in the rap industry. Then you concede that you open your legs to the points that this is not identical after originally claiming it to be identical. And then after you realized that you conceded your own proposition in the course of, let's say, 5 minutes or less, you try to change the scope of the conversation to if I disagree on whether or not your hits is going to be something which contributes to popularity. No shit, Sherlock Holmes. Of course, it does contribute. Of course, it's a primary contributing factor towards this thing. No one is disagreeing on the proposition, you dumb fuck. So again, I wanted to stay on track. I wanted to stay focused on the actual point, the actual relevant point of disputes here, and either concede that you committed a blunder or continue committing more blunders by defending this obvious blunder that you committed originally in the conversation.
Okay, so again, if you have bigger hits, you're more popular. That's fine. You haven't given a response to this. Um. Anyway, right. You're just rambling for 5 minutes. I asked you before. I'm gonna ask you again. Can you talk about other things that you value in terms of what you think makes a rapper better than another one? This is like the second time I'm asking you for this. You're just like so stuck on this last point. I don't care about it. I already responded to it. You already got absolutely slammed on that last point. I don't care for it. I'm gonna give you one more chance, Apollo, before I end the rec right here. Give me something that tells me why we should value one rapper or why we would think that one rapper is better than another rapper. You idiots. Are you ready? You can go ahead and mute me.
So just to be clear for the audience, the monkey's only talking point is him making these picture statements like, "I slammed you on your neck." Yeah, what a great elite leprechaun argument, by the way. And just to be clear on this, he has not even addressed the very fact that he changed the propositions. And if you're keeping track of the conversation, you'd have actually realized that I was in fact prioritizing hits as a means of determining who is a better rapper, and then I was tying that into greatness. I was saying that even though this is something which I value insofar as debating about who is a better rapper or who is a better artist in a particular genre in comparison to someone else, I believe at the same time that alongside that, it would be the case that this could also be something which is a main argument for greatness instead of who is a better rapper. But it would still be an argument or a factor or a criterion which is something which contributes towards the debate of whether or not Kendrick Lamar is a better rapper than Drake. With that being said, I prioritize hits than one's personal subjective preferences with respect to which lyric or which person is lyrically better. Like I'm not sure why I should take the input of some uneducated piece of trash from the slums of like nigger city in America. I don't know I should take your preferences on who has better lyrics or who is lyrically better over the intersubjective facts or the intersubjective norm insofar as who is a better rapper or rather who has better music. Right. I think that when you're going to be talking about the rap audience as a whole, holistically, what they usually prioritize is going to be lyrics in combination with other aesthetic values in the field of rap and songs, for example, or rap songs, for example. And I believe that given the fact that he has better hits, right, it would actually be strong evidence or strong enough evidence for the claim that Drake is in fact a better rapper and is better even on the criteria you've laid out previously, just given the fact that the intersubjective set of agreements points towards that given idea or belief being the case. Now, I'd really like to see you actually address a point for once instead of just saying, I slammed you at this point, let's move on. Like, I want to see you actually address a point, which I know you don't have the sort of like psychological ability to actually do because of the very fact that you are a single digit IQ piece of trash. But I would love to see you actually, disprove my expectations by actually debunking the point, actually addressing the point, actually falsifying the point with any given facts, which you cannot do again because of your severe level of ignorance. I would love to see you do this and then from you debunk that point I made previous about the blunder you've committed, and then you switching up on the blunder, I'd like to then see you address all the points I've just made a while ago regarding the criteria of determining how we determine who is a better rapper between X and Y, for example, which in this context would be representative of Drake and Kendrick Lamar, respectively. I'd love to see you address these 2 points. But I doubt you'll actually do this. You just do this rhetorical grandstanding bullshit and just like beat your monkey chest to the audience. But we will see what you actually do in your next upcoming response. Go for it.
Okay, so finally, you're giving me some substance. Uh, the first thing initially, this is
Ironic.
just you like rambling on it. Excuse me. The
Shut up,
first
bro.
thing. Oh my god, bro. Is this trouble?
He's muted, God.
Okay. Anyway, so basically, the first point, the reason why I was saying it's irrelevant over and over and over again was because you're not responding to the fact that I'm literally saying that these things can skew how, like, if hits is directly proportional to popularity, someone that's more popular will have more hits on their songs. If I've already established this relationship, you haven't given any argument just denying this. You're just fueling my argument with more things that help it. It's talking about actors or popularity or having credits on songs, all of which, I've already addressed. All of these things just prove that these don't necessarily contribute meaningfully to somebody being a better rapper or being a higher quality rapper if this data can be skewed in these forms. And now going on, shout out Sakazuki. Gone to the things that matter, the things that you just brought up, right? We're talking about the aesthetic of their music and the lyrics of their music. So now I need you to give me an argument because this was the claim you made. You said that if someone has greater hits or has more hits, that it's going to be proportional or it's going to scale to them having better aesthetic value or the quality of their lyrics being something greater, right? Being of this greater extent. You stupid pedophile. I need you to give that argument. And then two, right?
W
We can do
straight,
a
yeah.
dissection. I don't care. I'm going to call it pedophile. All
Ironic.
right.
Ironic. Ironic.
Two.
Your activity
Okay.
will
I don't
shade.
care. Okay, keep helping him oppose dick riders. He got farted on by a femboy. He turned into a horse. I don't care.
Ironic.
Anyway, fact of the matter is, right? We can do a dissection of both of these debate or both of these artists' lyrics from their greatest hits or from their best songs, and we can analyze these things and also extract some sort of empirics for why we would, I guess, have these aesthetic preferences to their songs. So yes, we can go ahead and go through an analytical breakdown between these two factors, right? You stupid pedophile, right? You want to grandstand and do these rhetoric offs and get stuck in the
Nigga, can
past
you
and talk
hurry up,
about
bro?
things that we've already addressed. You stupid idiot. All right. So I need
Ironic.
you to one, right? Give me the correlation between the, you know, greatness and being better. I guess quote unquote greatness, right? I'm not accepting it to be greatness, but I'm using your definition of greatness. Under your worldview, why this would correlate to being better. Uh, two, why it would then correlate to them also having more aesthetics or more like higher quality of aesthetics and higher quality lyrics. And then three, I need you to then engage with me on an analytical breakdown on these two external things that I've been asking you for my last two responses because you're so stuck in your warped pedophile brain that works in a call center in Jamaica and you live in the buttfuck middle of nowhere making $4 a month. You poor retarded pedophilic bitch. So
Ironic.
mute me, mute me, mute every other person in this VC dick riding because they're on my dick, and Sakazuki.
Who was the? Who is
Ironic,
that?
ironic.
It's Timmy's dad. Timmy's dad. It was Timmy's dad that did it.
It
Ironic.
wasn't, bro. What the
You're
fuck?
done,
He's
kid.
lying, bro. It wasn't Timmy's dad.
All right, yo,
Somebody
you
else.
let Apollo go, bro.
It was me.
Yeah, so the retard just tried to damage control his stutters basically by using a whole bunch of irrelevant trash cornball insults as a means of coping with this lack of argumentation. You talk about the idea of hits being something which is strongly correlated with popularity in the rap industry, but we see that even, for example, last year, for instance, Kendrick Lamar, at least one of the times, surpassed the for monthly listeners on Spotify. Right, in the rap industry game, or even in artistry, for example, a lot of the times listeners or rather hits, for example, is not determined on the basis of how popular someone is. There are a plethora of case scenarios where the biggest hit of a particular year is by an artist who is not as popular as another artist, for example, who has been in the industry for a much longer time period. It's not just based on popularity. I don't even believe it is primarily based on popularity in the context or in the sense you're talking about. That's not number one. Number two is we can all both agree on the freaking proposition that Drake, the main reason, the primary reason as to why 99.99% of people knows Drake is because of his rapping skill, because of his rapping ability. And so if that is to be the case, even going to be saying that the reason as to why his hits is going to be something which is more popular or gains more listeners, is something which is a result of his popularity. The very fact that his popularity is indexed or is really around, you could say, causally motivated by his rapping skill, that very fact is going to be strong fucking evidence for it being the case that his rapping skill has a greater influence in the psychology of people to basically draw them towards his music. Unlike Kendrick Lamar, who has been in the game for a
Hey, can I
similar
do
time frame.
two
That's
bacon
just the
double
one thing I want to say.
cheeseburgers and
So
small
let's just
lemonade?
put Alicia the dog in the background. Thank you very much. So that's the first point. The popularity argument works against their favor for the very reason being that the main reason as to why Drake is even popular amongst the 99% of his followers is quite literally on the basis of his rapping ability and how aesthetically pleasing his music actually is to the audience. So that's just going to strengthen the argument that the very fact he's more popular is strong evidence for the very fact that it would in fact be the case that he's a better rapper just on the basis of that. And also despite the fact they have similar levels of exposure. Kendrick Lamar has a lot of exposure in the rap. He's an underground rapper, for example. He has a lot of connections. He has a lot of connections, just like Drake. He has connections and exposure on the same level of Drake. If anything, you can see even in the last Grammys, for example, everyone turned on Drake, right? Including people who Drake has helped out, like even Taylor Swift, for example, with her music, right? So we see a lot of this stuff, right? We see that Kendrick Lamar cannot appeal to the whole, oh, well, it's just that's why he has more hits. No, that's a very idiotic, oversimplified way of looking at things. It's a very tunnel visioned mindset, especially when they have equal or relative or comparable levels of exposure for them to be on similar levels of platform. So you cannot make that argument as if it is biased towards Drake. I wouldn't say the rapid industry is biased towards Drake, which rigs it to be the case that he would automatically gain more hits. No, there has to be some other deeper factor which plays a role in this. And that fact is for some reason something you're ignoring because of your own biases or something. And those biases is not going to change the facts, buddy. So I want to focus on that part. Really and truly, there's nothing else to address. I don't even think you really said anything worthy of addressing outside of just these weird cornball cringe single digit IQ insults like you're pedophile, fart pedophile. Like dude, you're a child. You're such a man child. Like it's freaking crazy. Change your diapers, stop crying, stop giving the temper tantrum and attack the fucking argument. Okay? You're very responsible.
Am I unmuted? Oh, great. I'd like for everyone to check chat really
Ironic.
quickly. This is Consent Apollo, right? Never fear, Consent Man is here. He knows how to bypass consent with his strategies, with his rhetorical abilities. He's able to actually
Ironic.
bypass consent. That's how high tier of a debater he is. This is the tier one rhetoric in action. Apollo in the work. Anyway, now to get into the actual substance, right? I just had to drop something for the chat. Everyone wants to see more Apollo screenshots, him being a rapist, him being a pedophile, him not understanding consent, right? Him having e-sex with gay femboys before doing his salat, right? That's,
Ironic.
that's in the, all right, nice. That's all in the screenshots. Very powerful. I've, 8 more. Every single response, I'm going to be dropping a couple. Now let me start. for your first point, that's a contradiction. Earlier, you talked about Drake being some actor. You gave a bunch of these reasons that would skew why people would listen to this artist, which would contribute to his hits. You have a response to this. You're just making your own arguments. You're not actually addressing anything I said, right? And I'd like for you to prove that it would be based on like him just being like having this sort of quality, right? Niggas listen to Miles. He's absolutely horrid, right? That if people listen to artists just because they were good, then it would follow that like all of these underground rappers that are like super good or super. Sorry, somebody was talking to me, super high quality in their musical abilities just aren't recognized. That's exactly why we call them diamonds in the rough. So I need you to like prove that correlation, right? You took a very strong burden there. And also that would also force us to put into question why we would value the layman as some valid gauge. Why this would be some accurate gauge? Sure, Drake can be more mass appealing. That's fine. I don't really care about that. His music can be listened to by white people, by black people, by Asian people, by all of these people, but that doesn't speak to his actual quality. The things that I'm valuing and the things that you're valuing when we talk about quality or who's better is based on these skills, and you're trying to verify these skills based on their popularity. Do you see where the issues lie in that? So I'm asking you once again, fulfill your burden in providing some sort of analytical breakdown in which we can derive whether or not they're higher quality in terms of lyric or higher quality in terms of aesthetic. None of these necessarily point to the fact, or even like, sorry, necessarily point to the fact that they would be uh, more higher quality in lyrics, higher quality in sound. If anything, I would like to look at the critics and take samples from critics who have analyzed both of these rappers and have understood music theories and these things that we would value sonically when talking about these rappers. And now, for the chat, I want to give you guys a special present. He said earlier, "Oh, I didn't get farted on by a femboy. I didn't get farted on by a femboy." Check chat. Check chat. Who is this? Is this Quark? Is this Quark? Tell me that's not Quark. Tell me this not Quark. Apollo, you disgusting, freaky, gay pedophile. And you know what? I don't even care if people are gay. I have a lot of gay friends. Hermie gay. Dre is gay. I love these people. These are my good
Ironic.
friends. Timmy's dad. He's
Facts. We're
also,
all gay.
but
Facts.
I
We're all
don't
gay.
knock them for it because they accept it. They love who they are. Apollo, he is so deep in the closet that he thinks he can get away with these things. He thinks he can get away with getting farted on by a femboy. Apollo, you are a closeted homosexual. I want you to understand that you are a pedophile. Now, I'd like you
Ironic.
to stop it. Now, I need you to fulfill your burdens that I've placed on you and to adequately respond to my claims and to my refutations. If you cannot do that, you dumb, blabbering, pedophilic idiot, then I will accept your concession. Go ahead.
Notice how the retard spent a lot of his mental prowess on like the insults, and then when he actually was supposed to be talking about the fucking substance, he started stumbling and trembling over his fucking words. That's because the entirety of his monologue is focused towards, okay, let's call Apollo a pedophile who had sex with a fanboy, and that's your whole monologue. No arguments, no counter arguments, nothing of the sort whatsoever. Your only point is you denying the correlation between hits and popularity, which by the way is idiotic because we realize that there's a strong correlation, just given the evidence, insofar as hits predicting longevity and institutional power. Right, we see this a lot of the times. Artists with larger hits, for example, they tend to have like a greater cultural impact on independent listeners, even people who don't even listen to rap. For example, we see, for example, that Drake songs are going to be more popularized insofar as these are the songs which are showcased or listened to more often or played more often on the radio. Why would that be the case? Radio plays songs which are more appealing to the audience. There are even people who are not even attracted or listening to rap live, that they're not even like, you could say, consistent rap listeners, okay? They're not consistent rap listeners. However, they'll still be the type of persons who likes Drake's music. We see this a lot of the times, right? Even for example, some of your parents, for instance, would like, for example, like a Drake music or so on, even if they're not like attached to rap, for example. So the point I'm making is simply we see radios, they tend to play their songs are the most aesthetically appealing and the pleasing songs rather, as a means of basically getting more people to tune into that particular radio channel. That benefits these radio casts, of course. And so the very fact that Drake songs get played more on the radio, gets listened more even independently of radio source outlets, that's going to be strong evidence for this being the case because there's a strong fucking correlation between hits and greater influence on not just the culture of the current society, but also greater influence on future artists to basically propel the rap industry game and other particular music genre game. Right, that's going to be something which is strong evidence for the freaking crowd. The very fact we have a very strong correlation between hits and cultural impact, influence on future artistic ability or future artists and how they'll carry out the game, and also having a longer career, for example, like longevity, for instance, like scalability, repeatability, all of these things, my guy, is going to be strong reason to believe that the very fact he has more hits is going to make it the case that it is more likely that he is producing better music, right? Like, why would the radio be advertising music which is not that good, which is worse than music which is better and music which more people would want to tune into? That makes no sense. And we see radio tends to actually showcase Drake's music a lot more than Kendrick Lamar's music. There are a lot of people who listens to Drake's music who doesn't even know it's Drake who actually sung whatever song that actually is. So it's not just a matter of, oh well, it's Drake's music, so I'm gonna listen to it. No, it's a matter of, hey, let's play Drake's music on the radio because people listen to this more and would want to listen to this more than Kendrick Lamar's music, and that's gonna give them more reason to actually tune into the radio more often. So that's not going to be based off name reputation or nominal reputation because we see a lot of the times music gets played on radio despite listeners not even knowing what person actually sung whatever song that actually is. So that argument gets knocked off the list pretty badly just based off how bad it gets flipped back onto you and just based off the radio argument. And now we see strong correlation between someone producing greater hits and more hits and all of these other factors which are symptomatic of one's rapping skill or music skill or artistic skill rather. So that's really just it. To address the other parts of what you're saying, Westbound, I don't really want to waste my time with this insult back and forth stuff. You're just doing this weird stuff where you're propelling these obviously debunked allegations. The funny thing is, if you actually go around the entire community and outside this community, by the way, and say to any person that Apollo is a pedophile and this, and they post those screenshots, trust me, no one would actually care about you because, to be fair, you're just an insignificant worm outside of the server. No one cares about your opinion or your inputs or anything you have to offer, even in your own household, except people in this freaking server, except teenagers in this freaking server. I'm gonna advise you one more time, you dumb fuck, illiterate fucking scumbag piece of trash. Hey, focus on the argumentation. You're not looking good on the rhetoric. And just to be clear on this is getting recorded. So when this gets put on YouTube, no one is gonna see what the chat is showing. No one is gonna see these fake screenshots where they're trying to prove to basically get some rhetorical grandstanding and jerk yourself off to like 20 plus persons in this chat. But guess what? The hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of people who actually listens to the debate, they're gonna hear you stutter over your words, they're gonna hear you stumble over your words, they're gonna hear you trembling, quivering, and fucking shaking in your fucking boots and peeing your diapers as you're trying to articulate a basic fucking coherent sentence, as you're trying to string together basic fucking arguments, and they're gonna listen to me just dominating you in the fucking rhetorical octagon, just pinning you the fuck down and treating you like a submissive fucking bitch, right? And just beating you down over and over and over in the argumentation. That's what the hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of people are gonna listen on YouTube. So let's focus less on pleasing like 15 teenagers in this one minuscule server and focus more on being more appealing to the hundreds of people who be listening to getting blown the fuck out in their intestines, ripped the fuck out in this conversation as is clearly shown by me beating you down over and over and rhetorically cock slapping you on the argumentation up to this very fucking second. So again, my son, give a response, attack the goddamn argument, stop trying to rhetorically grandstand. You have a stutter, you have a speech impediment, you pronounce the word aesthetic as aesthetic, you're fucking stupid. Attack the argument and stop committing blunders, you dumb fucking retard. Give your response.
Pleasing teenagers, huh? You know a lot about that, don't you, Apollo? Hey, check chat. I got another one for you. Hey, how can I rent a femboy? Yo, Apollo, what are you doing? Dumbass boy.